2022 NFL Draft coverage on Keon Sports is brought to you by JBL Roofing and Construction. Sports fans and homeowners alike, let me take this moment to tell you about JBL Roofing and Construction. JBL is a licensed, bonded, and an insured contractor with experience to complete any job needed for your home or property. Let our team of professionals help you with vinyl siding, windows, roofing, and gutters. Get the job done right the first time and stress-free with JBL. Call them today at 330-677-9463. That's 330-677-9463. Or visit them on the web at jblrc.com. Jeffrey Protects Insurance. In today's day and age, insurance from someone you can trust is more important than ever, and you won't make a better choice than Jeffrey Protects Insurance. At JPI, they specialize in Medicare, healthcare services, and life insurance. Visit them at jeffreyprotects.com or call them at 330-304-7267. That's 330-304-7267. Dave's Golden Shear Barbershop, a staple of the community since 1954. Dave's Golden Shear Barbershop has been your trusted barber for nearly a century of great haircuts. With affordable prices and excellent customer service, there is no better place to get your cut. It is located at 26915 Center Ridge Road in Westlake. And TNT Construction, your top choice for residential, commercial remodeling, construction, and building services, not only in Cleveland, but all of Northeast Ohio. Look them up today at tntcleveland.com. The wide receivers, the position group that everybody in Cleveland has been looking forward to, and the prospect rankings coming up. This was a tough class to evaluate in some ways. In some ways, it was easy as well because the film really stood out with this class. As we're about to dive in on this, something of note, the quarterbacks in the league, already talked about this in a previous show, but they need more weapons. Always need to refill and add more weapons. The tight end class yesterday that you saw the video of, you saw the article of, going over all the prospects in that tight end class. Again, you have a year where maybe one of the best tight end classes in recent memory, and maybe one of the most loaded, stacked wide receiver classes as well at the same time. So all the quarterbacks in the league right now, they're going to be very happy after this draft. Wide receivers, not just 1, 2, 3, 4 guys at the top that could be first-round talents. We're talking about 8, 9, 10 guys who realistically have first-round talent. And as for the ones that come after that, second, third, fourth-round guys, there's a lot that can make an impact. So you've read through the prospect rankings all the way up till 4. Should give you an idea of who the top 3 are, but how do I rank it? And a surprise at 3 as we get to 3 right now. A prospect that I really fell in love with the film on. That, of course, being an Ohio State fan, being in Ohio and watching Big Ten football all the time, the guy who I saw actually quite regularly with Purdue, David Bell. Now, David Bell, many are looking at him as more of a second-round wide receiver just because there's so many guys at the top. Again, he's not the biggest. He's not the fastest guy. I think people are getting caught off guard in the sense of they're being drawn to, once again, the size and the speed. And that's great. That's always great. But the clinical route runners have the most success in the NFL. That's exactly what David Bell is. That's why I love his film and why I have him here at number 3. It's because he's one of the most polished route runners out there. He's a consistent receiver. He was constantly getting 9, 10, 11, 12 targets at Purdue. And with some, at times, inconsistent quarterback play, he was producing in his time at Purdue. Even when Rondale Moore was gone, and last year it was really just David Bell getting the majority of the targets. Now, as a polished route runner, he just knows how to get open, whether that's breaking out to the sideline, whether that's coming back to the ball, whether it's making a little stutter step move and then getting up the sideline. Regardless of what he does, Bell always seems to find a way to get open. Like I said, he's not the biggest. He's not the most explosive guy. He's not the fastest. So the numbers from the combine and those things will turn your heads to other prospects. But what Bell's going to do is prove that he's NFL starter ready right now. If you put him on the field right this second, he's going to find a way to get open, even if he's getting tight coverage from a top corner in the NFL. He not only has a really high ceiling, but he also has a high floor. What does that mean for those who don't talk about ceilings or floors when it comes to prospects? Well, the ceiling, of course, the high potential, but it's always good to have a high floor rather than a low floor. That means regardless, if Bell doesn't pan out to be an elite wide receiver, I think that floor is so high for him that he's still at least going to be a productive receiver, whether he's a second, third, fourth receiver on a depth chart. He will still make an impact even if he does not become the star number one, number two guy right away. His game, though, will allow him to have success immediately in the NFL. My comparison for David Bell is Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, not the fastest, but you watch that footwork, and he finds a way to get open. He's a nasty route runner in the league. Really gets open for Josh Allen up there in Buffalo. He was great when he was in Minnesota as well. Diggs is a really good comparison for David Bell here, and you're probably going to see Bell go in the second round. That's my guess. If he makes it in the first round, it's just because teams are getting scared because a slew of wide receivers are going. Maybe 7 come off the board or so. David Bell comes off as the 8th guy, and teams are really running through the first round taking wide receivers. My guess is he will be there in the second round. So what teams would he fit well with? Well, the Cleveland Browns would be a really good fit. Have an excellent route runner in Amari Cooper. Why not put an excellent route runner opposite of him in David Bell? When you have Deshaun Watson playing, regardless of whether he's playing right away or there is a suspension that's later in the season, you're going to have receivers that get open if you have David Bell with Amari Cooper. It doesn't have to be that burst of speed. You have a guy like Anthony Schwartz who can stretch the defense even if he's not making the catches. You have the size in Donovan Peoples-Jones. You have a couple other guys who can do some things for you, but David Bell would instantly become the number 2 in Cleveland. The New England Patriots, again, just seems like that type of wide receiver that Bill Belichick would love in his offense for Mac Jones, another guy with great running ability to be able to get open underneath for Mac Jones, who's fairly accurate underneath and mid-range. The Chicago Bears, not too far away. I mean, Purdue is in Indiana, and then you go over to Illinois with Chicago. Not too far of a trip there for David Bell, but still staying in the Midwest. Justin Fields needs more weapons. Allen Robinson's no longer there. Really just had the speed of Darryl Mooney, and it felt like that was pretty much it for the Bears. So they need wide receivers. This would be a good fit for them. Same with the Indianapolis Colts. Keep Bell in Indiana. Put him in the dome with Matt Ryan. Bell's going to get open, especially because everybody has the key on the run game with Jonathan Taylor. Could be a really good fit there in Indianapolis. So, we're in the Ohio State polo here. Okay, right there, you see that. The main reason why is because there have been 2 names that haven't been announced. Everybody knows them. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. And this class is so loaded, and Ohio State had the luxury of 2 really good wide receivers. Jackson Smith and Jigba, still at Ohio State right now. Olave, Wilson going into the draft. It's a matter of which is the best one of those 2. They're definitely 2 of the top prospects, and I have them at number 1 and at number 2. Number 2, Chris Olave. So Chris Olave, I put him at 2. He had a fantastic career at Ohio State. Pretty underrated, actually, coming out of high school. But the way he plays then at Ohio State, he shined. Going down as an all-time great Ohio State receiving weapon. Racked up a ton of touchdowns in his career. That's why he's in the record books for Ohio State. Just reminds me of a sports car, the way he plays football. He's a smooth route runner. He has some speed. Just offers such a deep threat ability. It feels like every single time Olave came down with the football, it was resulting in a touchdown. The only issue with Olave is probably that he lets the ball get in on his body at times in traffic. It works at times, but I would like to see him be stronger with his hands so he could snag the football a little bit more. He hasn't had really issues with drops, but sometimes laying it in on the body, again, ball can sneak up on you. Again, that can result in some drops. The reason why Olave is number 2, again, he's not as much of a threat with underneath routes. Again, he can come back. He can make the catches underneath. But again, most everything for him seems to be deep ball. He's a little more one-dimensional wide receiver, but a ton of talent. We'll see if he can also add to that route tree as well in the league. Player comparison for him, guy from last year who's a rookie, Devontae Smith, deep ball threat, has that speed, definitely agile, and just really operates like a sports car. Smooth and fast. Very similar players there. My projection for Olave is top 15. He will go night 1 in the first round. Where he'll go, we'll wait and see in a couple weeks. Again, make sure to stay tuned for our draft show as well. But top 15 is probably where Olave will go. Wouldn't be surprised if he makes his way off the board in the top 10. Best fits for him, the New Orleans Saints, still looking to add talent down there. We know they love Ohio State players. They seem to be drafting Ohio State players all the time. Again, we'll wait and see if they go that direction. Again, still have Michael Thomas on their roster as well. Didn't play last year. We'll see if he touches the field as well. The Washington Commanders. The Commanders maybe can make the move here for Olave. They currently have Terry McLaurin. McLaurin maybe could be going up on the trading block. We will wait and see on that as well. They have Curtis Samuel. So right now, 2 Ohio State wide receivers. Will they make it 3? Perhaps they could give Wentz another weapon. The Los Angeles Chargers. They have Keenan Allen. They have Mike Williams. What would it hurt to add another really talented wide receiver in Chris Olave? Another guy who can take the top off for a talented, strong-arm quarterback like Justin Herbert, and we know he can launch it down the field. And then lastly, the wild card team, the Minnesota Vikings. Adam Thielen has good hands, good route runner. You have Justin Jefferson, a smooth route runner. Why not add another smooth route runner in Chris Olave? You can't go wrong with that. Again, he would take the top off as to where the other guys don't do that as much, so it would give them a little bit of an extra added dimension there in Minnesota. At number 1, Garrett Wilson. Knew it was coming. I basically already said it. But again, with Wilson, the main reason why he's above Chris Olave is he's much more versatile in many different ways. Not only can he run those deep routes, maybe not as explosive on the deep routes as Chris Olave, but he's good on those middle routes, in between, underneath, screens, jet sweeps. Regardless, you get the ball in Garrett Wilson's hands, he's going to make something happen. He's a do-it-all wide receiver. One of the smoothest route runners I've seen in recent times. He really can put on a clinic. And if coaches want to put on film of how to run routes, you might want to put on Garrett Wilson's film because his feet are quick. He makes some really direct movements. It's really excellent to watch what he can do when he is out there running routes and he can put a defender on skates. He has fantastic athleticism, some elusive speed, just outstanding leaping ability. Again, he can climb the ladder for the football. Again, that is a really important factor as well with his great hands, coupled with the great hands, that leaping ability. He's not the tallest wide receiver out there, but he can climb the ladder, go up and snag that ball. Really the perfect combination of those soft yet strong hands. He doesn't drop passes. Mentioned the precise footwork with the way he runs those routes. Garrett Wilson is going to be a star. I can absolutely guarantee that one. As long as he can stay healthy, again, but he really hasn't had injury issues during his time at Ohio State. He's going to make an impact wherever he goes. His quarterback's going to love having him on the team, and I expect he'll go really early, maybe even top 10 in this draft, but definitely a night 1 prospect. Player comparison, Justin Jefferson. Jefferson is a very talented route runner. Talked about his ability actually just a moment ago when I was discussing Chris Olave. Justin Jefferson is a smooth route runner, and that's exactly what Garrett Wilson is. Garrett Wilson's an even more talented prospect than what Jefferson was coming out of college, but you see how Jefferson's taken off in the league. There's definitely the potential of that here with Wilson. Best fits. Well, who are the teams early on that could take him? Where would he fit best of these teams that are early on in the draft? The Philadelphia Eagles, they need more wide receiver help, more wide receiver talent to couple with Jalen Hurts. Garrett Wilson, he's going to be right around that point where the Eagles have a pick if he's not already off the board. But they might look to go there. The Washington Commanders, again, maybe on the board for Chris Olave, possibly on the board for Garrett Wilson. I think they're going to take a wide receiver. That would be my best guess. I'd be surprised if they go with another position group. We'll wait and see how the next couple weeks shake out. Maybe my opinion will change there. But why not get Carson Wentz? Again, more weapons. The Atlanta Falcons, lack of weapons in past years, especially last year, was an issue for them. Now Ridley is suspended for the whole season. So they still need weapons there at wide receiver. So we will see what they do and when they go for a wide receiver. It's more of a matter of when rather than if they take a wide receiver. The wild card team, Wilson's not going to slip through the first round or anything like that. Again, he'd be a really good fit in Cleveland to partner with Deshaun Watson. And that talent would be phenomenal opposite of Amari Cooper. But if the Cleveland Browns want to get Wilson, they're going to have to make some sort of blockbuster trade to get up into that top 15, top 10 range. I don't see it happening, even though he'd be a great fit in Cleveland. This wide receiver group is so much fun, and I hope you guys enjoy watching this draft and watching this class shine come the fall, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a handful of guys. Is it going to be these top 3 guys? I hope for their sakes it is, and for the teams that draft them. But regardless, there are going to be a lot of top prospects in this wide receiver class that make an impact right away. Again, thanks for everybody who's tuning in to all of these draft shows. Again, make sure to keep paying attention. Next one up, we're going to be looking at offensive linemen the next 2 days.